Dragon, the Bruce Lee story, is a pretty crappy fighting game, and the version I'll be reviewing is for the Sega Genesis. I haven't tried any of the other versions, but from what I understand, they're more or less lackluster, just like this game. So, it's basically a fighting game, as you'd expect with a Bruce Lee game. Every level is basically a little cutscene of why Bruce Lee fights someone, and then he begins the fight. And the little stories in the game are absolutely ridiculously stupid. I felt like I lost brain cells just playing this game. I mean, it's always like, hey, I want to dance with that girl, and some guy's like, you can't dance with this girl, and Bruce Lee's like, fight! And it's like, I swear, it's that dumb. It's like the story in this game was written by a 5th grader during recess. Every story is like, hey, that girl's nice. Don't look at that girl. I'll fight you now. Oh, here's a fun one. Bruce Lee's working out and some guy's like, hey, you, are you done with that machine? And Bruce Lee's like, no, give me a few minutes. And the guy's like, I'll fight you for it. It's like everybody wants to just beat Bruce Lee up wherever he goes. Hey, you, are you done with that seat at the restaurant? No, I'm still eating dinner with my family. Haha, I'll fight you for it. It's just so incredibly stupid. I mean, saying it was written by a 5th grader during recess would probably be a compliment because it's much worse than that. The actual gameplay is okay. Now, a lot of people have a problem with the fighting in this game, and I get it, but it's playable. For example, the graphics are good, and it's kind of fun to beat up the enemies once you get their pattern down. The problem, of course, is all the enemies, for the most part, have the same exact way to attack you. They do have their special moves, and you have your specials, but for the most part, 90% of the things the enemies attack you with are just basic attacks, and it's always the same strategy. It's not just melee fighting, punching, kicking, jump kicking, hitting and punching high and low. You can also throw and counter throw, so it mixes up different styles of combat pretty well. The problem with the game, however, is it's really, really difficult. I'm talking like Rise of the Robot difficult. If you don't have twitch-fast reflexes, the enemies will always hit you first when you're close enough to hit the enemies. It's really annoying, and it's a shame because the actual hit detection, the graphics, and all the moves, that's all good in the game. All of that is worthy of a good fighting game, but because the enemies are always first to hit you, it's almost impossible to beat them unless you do one move, which you will do throughout the entirety of this game. It's like a somersault, and while you're on your hands in the somersault, Bruce Lee kind of pushes his hands and flies at you with both his legs. This move doesn't do any more damage than a regular attack, but it is a move that's also a way to evade the enemy's attacks. So when you do this move, the enemy always misses you, or the enemy is just too far away to hit you, because this move can be done from far away. This somersaulting attack is basically the only real way to beat the game, and it's also incredibly cheap, because to beat the game, all you have to do is just somersault at the enemies over and over and over again. I mean, this game just has no respect for realistic fighting. Let's just say for a moment that a somersault like that would actually do damage. Let's leave the realm of possibility for that one and say it would in a real fight. Do you understand how tired a fighter would get doing that move over and over and over again? I mean, after about the 5th time someone does that, their arms are just gonna be numb. They are going to be tired beyond belief. And yet Bruce Lee can just do the somersault attack over and over, like, I don't know, 50 times in a row. Just non-stop without a break. It's just stupid and completely takes you out of the combat. You can try to have other strategies in this game, like you can kind of try to time yourself and punch or kick the enemy, but that makes the game almost impossible. Like, your punches have no reach, so you might as well forget about that. Your kicks are a little better, but the enemy will still kick your ass if you try to do anything but the somersaults. You also have to keep in mind that as you perform successful attacks, and as I stated, the only really successful attacks you will be able to perform will be the somersaults. But as you perform them successfully, you build up this chi meter. It allows you to perform new moves or makes your existing moves a little stronger. It's all really confusing and honestly unnecessary because somersault or die. And sometimes there's more than one enemy you have to fight, so the ridiculous difficulty just gets even more ridiculous. This could have been a good game. I mean, it has good graphics, the hit detection is good. All the moves look good, they're crisp, and on that off chance when you will actually hit with a move that isn't the somersault, it's actually satisfying to damage the enemy. Unfortunately, this game's difficulty and just the unspeakably bad story are unforgivable. Also, this is really important to note. Bruce Lee sounds like a cat when he wins a fight. Dragon the Bruce Lee story for the Sega Genesis gets an official Stan Birdman rating of a 5.5 out of 10. Only play this game if you're just a hardcore Bruce Lee fan. You will not enjoy it if you're a fan of fighting games. Thanks for watching. Goodbye, my friends.